Yo, what's good? It's Val, the 40K kid. Been busy, missed y'all. I'm trying to throw a couple little musical videos out there. Just let you guys know I'm still in the game, still running with it. But I'm gonna spark this tree up. We're gonna have a little rap. Peace.
Like skyscrapers, we going up like elevators.
Alright, so aside from blazing a little tree, my current little project I'm dealing with is boom, Deathwatch. Love them. Read this book already. Stopped reading it a couple years ago. Got this the first year I was into Warhammer, man. It's a dope book. But I kind of got out of it. But I got back into it. So here we go. This thing is amazing. This is a great book. Can't beat it. Stand out in this book to me, Death Specters. Hey man, I don't know where the hell these dudes come from, whatever, but they're sons of Corvus Corax, and I really into some heavy duty psyker shit. They're kind of like psyker Raven Guard, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff that goes on with them reminds me of some of like the sons of Guilliman, just a little bit. They kind of remind me of that and that stoicness and stuff they got, but they're actually sons of Corvus Corax, so they're heavy on psychers. One of the most interesting things about these dudes, they have this chair at their fortress monastery. Now, supposedly this chair like increases their power, and it's really comparable to the Golden Throne. And the oddest thing about it is that the chapter master, everyone that got it will rank up to be the chapter master. His job is to sit on this throne, man, and he can't leave because he's active when he's on it. It's like it's a psychic deal, something like comparable to what the Emperor's going through on his throne. But oh, and even more comparable, when they die, they just poof. You know what I'm saying? They poof like a cloud. They're gone. I'm not shitting you. These dudes here, they just like get used up, I guess, their psychic energy or whatever from the warp. It just keeps pressing, but they're a very interesting chapter, but they stood out to me in this one. Another cool dynamic in this book is there's a situation, speaking of Death Specters, where there's an exorcist, and he's kind of like just there in case the cycle gets out of line. So it's a nice little bit of tension between these two space marines because they're not really liking each other. And exorcists, as I've learned in this book, do not like psychers and shit. Like, I thought they would kind of be more akin to it, but nah, I guess having a demon forced into you, if you don't know about the exorcist, they have to exorcise a demon out of themselves that's purposely put in them as a part of their initiation training or whatever to become a full-fledged space marine. So the exorcist, man, like, I guess the Grey Knights are the most powerful, but I don't know, these dudes got an edge on them because they got the warp tank deal. They dealt with a warp tank and rejected it, or they had learned how to live with the warp tank. So the exorcists are very interesting. Also, like I said, the Death Specters, they're also interesting. There's some Silver Skull stuff in here too. I think that sons of Gilliman, but I'm not nuts about the Silver Skulls like I am the Death Specters. They really caught my eye. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like that dark shit. I like chaos and all that. So, like the Grandmere, the Space Marine chapter, the crazier it is. You know, like the Carcharodons, my favorites. I'm eventually going to get around to doing that video. I just keep going through this thing where I'm trying to figure out how to do it and how to do it. So you want to know about the Carcharodon Astra? We are special. We are different. We have big muscles. Look at the shit. A regular space marine will die by my I like that. That guy's funny. Yo, but yeah, back to this. Yo, there's so much shit that happens in this book, man. It's hard to keep up with the different things, man. What I like and the way I attacked this book when I did is I read the shorter stories first, and I saved the longer stories for last. And it turns out that was a good idea, but some of the shorter stories actively take place, in between, before and after the bigger stories that make up the bulk of this gigantic house. Um, but those smaller stories, sometimes there may be a spoiler or a new change in the relationship. Whereas these two guys may not like each other in the earlier stories, something happens in the book and they end up becoming friends. So you may mess yourself up on that. I didn't really care because I was like brand new with Warhammer, and I was so excited just to have the Deathwatch Omnibus because some of these omnibuses are hard to get. Like the first Blood Angels Omnibus, I tried to find it, can't get it nowhere. If anybody knows anything, man, say something in the comments, please. I appreciate that. But yeah, just fucking this book is the shit. Yes, I am a little baked, so vibe with me. But man, this book is like so much shit happens. Like in the shorter stories, you get like Eldar battles. Shit, I think they run up against I think they get a taste of chaos in here. Gene Stealer cults. Oh man, it's a lot of good battle, good war. Like I said, the coolest character for me is Karis, and that's the Death Spectre that I talked about earlier. Stoic kind of guy. He's self-entitled, and he goes through a process of learning. How being so entitled can sometimes be a weakness. Sometimes when we overdo it, and don't realize that we're staying at this level of overdoing it so long that if we get stripped of one little thing and get set back down to where we're not quite at that level of like overdoing it, we feel weak. It's a real human thing, and it's kind of awesome to watch him go through it. But they tied in and twisted in real well, pretty much. His little growth and realization, like to be a leader, to be somewhere and have to represent. One of the big things about the Deathwatch is a lot of these warriors have to come to grips with what it means to be shouldering a legion on your back, and you're just one dude. But everything you do represents them, so you're an icon, and it's really a lot of dealing with that, and that's what's great about the authors in this book. Everybody wrote like on some real shit, on some deep shit, because that's one of the major worries with these guys. They want to live up to the warriors of the past and be great examples for the warriors of the present and future. So you talk about some ego shit. Like, it's great that these guys are like chemically pretty much castrated because, man, testosterone and the competitiveness, it'd be some murders and deaths, and it already is some murders and deaths. Sometimes these dudes kill each other in the Deathwatch, because they got to think, this is like basic Space Marines training, right? It's terrible, it's grueling. Well, this is another step up, like several steps up. This is tiring work. They got 10-hour combat sessions, shit like that in a day. And they got the suicide membrane and all that shit, so they can get that little baby rest. Like, I call it baby rest because they don't go to sleep all night. These motherfuckers here basically nap if they need to do that. But Space Marines are amazing, but this training dogs them out. It wears their ass out. So he's going through all this training, and you get to see a lot about their practices and the way they set things up. But man, his learning process is the exposition is great on it, man. Because like I say, I'm still glad I read the shorter stories first, because I already knew the dude was a badass by the time I started reading. But the novels, like the one I'm on right now, I think it's just called Deathwatch, if I'm not mistaken. Steve Parker. Yeah. Steve Parker, Deathwatch. Dude, you did a great job. But this story is long. There's some convoluted plots and crazy shit to go on in it, but man, it's a great book. And then the other book is, see, it's like 2 or 3 major books, and then it's a selection of short stories. So the first one is Deathwatch, and the second book, complete book, is Deathwatch, Cryptman's War. And I'm Cryptman's War. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I just know this from audiobooks and fucking YouTube videos, but isn't Inquisitor Cryptman the guy that blew up all the people on some just in case shit? But he was actually right, but it was still like fucking horrible. Like, you know, correct me, hey yo, like I said, I'm not no arrogant motherfucker, I don't know everything. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It's cool, just be polite about that shit. Like I said, I ain't scared to delete nobody. And if people get a little too ugly, man, I will start turning off comments, man, because, you know, it's not necessary. I'd rather you keep the ugliness. Be yourself and always express yourself and be honest. But, man, yo, I'm never going to come to y'all rude. Okay, so we got here Storm of Damocles. Storm of Damocles. But that's the other book. The books are great though, man. But like I said, I jumped into the short stories first because I wasn't sure if I was going to like this, because I know a lot of guys have told me about this like bolter porn that's supposed to be out there with like really bad writing but great deaths and kills and shit. So far I haven't bumped into none of those books. The worst book I ever bought from Warhammer is right here. And I do not like this book. Maledictions. I want to kind of say it's fun, but they kind of, and it's also my mistake because this is a mixture of, I want to say Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer, so it's kind of an offshoot. But I'm going to tell you flat out what the problem with these stories are. There's no twist. It's just like straightforward. Like all the stories are just like straight out. There's no horrific twist or no spin. It's like if I just told you a real grimy story of me going through the jungle with my crew, and it's monsters and shit. We kill them, and then we get to the end of the swamp. A grenade blow up. Maybe lose 2 more guys, but we run real fast, and then we get out of it. That's the end. That's literally how the stories go, all of them. Shit happens, this stuff happens. There's no plot, there's no underline, there's no trick, there's no nothing. Like, there is one where there's this like mystery of, and they even managed to make this kind of dull, but it's probably one of the coolest stories. But it's an Imperial Guard story in here where the soldiers are getting killed like Predator style. Like this motherfucker is creeping up on them and marking their ass. It's like they're finding dudes gutted, hanging upside down, that they had just seen 4 or 5 hours ago. And they're all dying in these horrible fucking ways, and you keep trying to figure out. But the way they handle the story, man, when you finally do figure it out, it's not that exciting, and then they keep it going a little bit too long. But it's not like, I'm not a fan of M. Night Shyamalan. You know, I don't need a twist, you know what I'm saying, every fucking time I watch something with horror, but it's nice to have something to make you think when GW has books that have a twist that aren't horror stories. Then they get the horror stories and it's no twist. And this book is not good. It's not. It was no fun. I want to say it was fun. It's cool looking though. Shows you I'm a collector, because this isn't a common book that people in their collections have. Few people have made the mistake of buying it, but horror and Warhammer can truly work. It's some beautiful shit, but nah. But man, I just wanted to rap with y'all for a minute, man. Shit, man, that's fucking it, man. You know, burning the J with my crew. Talk about a little Warhammer. So, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate the comments. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the likes and the shares. God, I hate saying this shit. But, yeah, man. It's good talking to y'all for a minute. I'm finna get some rest. I'm a little tired and run down. I'm gonna try to start, man, putting these videos together when I'm like high energy, because sometimes I'll be like, this ain't just the weed, this is, I'm physically tired, but the weed just kind of mellowed shit out, so you know, I'm cool. But You know, hey, smoke weed every day.